Hello and welcome to the Big 12 Mafia Holy Rivals Fearless Pick'em Friday. This is I'm your host Nathan Bomber Brown. With me are two of my key contributors. That would be Moen.
That's him.
It's happening. Backyard brawl, baby.
There he is.
Everybody knows who he is now. No hiding him. And then Immaculate View. How you doing today, Immaculate?
Good, man. Good. Thanks again for having me on.
Of course. So, and hopefully Wild Ute's able to make it. I know he has to drive home from work and he's got some things, but we really appreciate it. Anybody who's going to be with us tonight. Friday evening, a lot of stuff going on. I know date nights are going to be happening. I have a hard and fast time when I have to be done. So anybody who's here right now, we really appreciate you being here. While you're here, please take a moment to subscribe, give us a comment or suggestion, give us a thumbs up so we know we're doing good. And then turn on those notifications, because notifications is where it's at. And that's what helps us sort of get the show out to more people. You'll never miss the show if you turn on those notifications. So on our Fridays, what we're going to start doing, and the name is Fearless Pick'em Friday, we're going to go through some select games that we've thought about and we want to pick out and talk about. And we want you as the listener to be engaged. So be prepared to give us your answer in the comments. If you want your comments to be read, please go ahead and put them on there. If you want to be guaranteed you get on, you basically can make it a super chat, or I always take preferential comments from the members of our show, and that would be from the Big 12 Mafia Holy Rivals main page. Hit the join button and pick a subscription model that fits your needs. We always prefer to read those comments first, and then we read all super chats. So the Wild Ute is here. How you doing, Ute?
I'm doing well. I'm just looking at Moan Vision. Seriously, what the heck, guys?
I saw the face expression. I'm like, I know what he's looking at.
I'm ready for the backyard brawl.
He's trying to emulate, I think, everybody in West Virginia. I think is what he's trying to do there. But we appreciate you being here, Ute. How was your drive home?
Drive home was great. Ready to talk some football here, make some predictions.
Absolutely. Yep, it's going to be fun. I also want to say that at quarter after, so 8:15 Eastern time, we're going to have Captain Butter is going to be joining us. He's the BYU fan that flies that flight plan over Washington, over the San Juans, and up in the Puget Sound. He's going to be joining us at quarter after 8 Eastern, and we're going to talk about how he gets that flight plan approved, how he goes about actually making that flight, and really just talk to him about his fandom. And if everything goes well and we like him, I'm planning on maybe doing a pop-up show after the BYU game tomorrow, just to talk BYU and sort of see how that goes on Twitter. So anyway, lots to talk about. I'm glad everybody's here. So before we jump into the picks tonight, guys, let's talk about news at the top of the hour. So, what are you guys thinking about what's going on in college football right now? Any lead stories you want to talk about, or news items that have happened this week that you guys would like to bring up?
I think the story still is the SEC being down. Mm-hmm. Really, like the SEC, like after all the power, after all these non-conference wins year after year after year, there's just been so many losses in SEC land. Texas beating Bama just solidified that in my mind too. So the SEC taking a step, seemingly sidestep, or even a step backwards is crazy. It is, and like I know the new money hasn't come in from these new TV contracts. So it's going to change the game here in a couple of years. But it's crazy that the Pac-12 right now looks like top to bottom a stronger conference than the SEC, and that is unreal. That's the storyline for me.
Moen?
For me, it's Brian Hartline's not a candidate at Michigan State, so just stop. Leave the man's name out your mouth. That's it. Brian Hartline's an Ohio State coach. He's going to stay an Ohio State coach. We're not afraid to do what it takes. So Michigan State, just back off.
Okay, so if he's not, then who is?
Deion Sanders.
Oh, he did it.
Okay.
Steal
another coach from Colorado.
This is Friday
Okay.
night, Mo, and this is like a different person
This-
we're talking
this-
about.
Pipeline of coaches after those two.
Okay, flesh that out. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
curious what you guys think the coach is actually going to be there.
I don't know at this point in time. I mean, they're giving their guys plenty of time to. The moment they get rid of him, all those guys can go transfer. So we're not really going to be looking at any news about that coming out for at least a month. Well, half a month. That's about October 5th, I think, is the date when the hearing is set for him. So in terms of that, but in other stories, does it have to be about football, or could I bring up something else?
No, I
that's
said
sports
news.
related.
Yeah, go.
I am interested in what's going on at Dartmouth, of all freaking places.
Okay,
that's
tell us why.
The issue with the boys basketball team wanting to unionize and get employee benefits. And the story about it, as Ross Dellinger had in his article, was fascinating about how it actually came because some of them had to work in the cafeteria for money, and the students working in the cafeteria unionized to get better pay there, and the boys basketball team got the idea from that. And so it's all now we've got two main stories coming out of the Ivy League in terms of students challenging the school because they have no scholarships there. So that's my story.
And what does it matter if they unionize or not?
Well, now we're starting to talk about what Moen likes to talk about, and that's student athletes becoming employees.
Okay. And is that a bad thing or a good thing? Why should we care about that?
I'd probably think it matters where you stand on things. I'd say for athletes, it could be a good thing. All of the athletes, though, maybe not, because now you maybe start to separate some of your students out. I think what's going on with the Ivy League in particular is their status of not paying out scholarships for student athletes is getting heavily challenged. They're going to have to decide on whether they want to stay in Division I, they want to drop to Division III, do they want to maybe move a sport into a money-making conference that could pay the way if they do scholarships. It's starting to flesh out. I was wondering if something was going to happen up there. This came out of the blue, but it definitely adds a lot of weight to what's going on up there. And
Okay.
as the story goes, if they do get this unionization into effect up there, it becomes a precedent, and they are Division I, so it becomes a Division I precedent.
All righty.
How's this going to change the game, though? Okay, say that this happens, and we're going to the place where we're paying players, right? Say this all happens in the next 5-10 years. Like, what's that going to do to the game of college football and college basketball? I'm curious about that. Like, what's the fallout, and does it change anything? I mean, like, is the compensation amount going to be so small and marginal it doesn't even really matter, and then NIL is still going to reign supreme? It kind of seems that way. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on what you think the fallout would be.
To me, I think that they can handle this much more quickly if they decide that they want to go to some type of scholarship method. Because then now you're getting them some type of benefit. Now they're becoming a student athlete. Whereas before, they're just students. They don't get anything in return for them playing the game. So that's why they're unionizing to get something. If you give them a scholarship, they're technically then getting something. So they could stomp this real quick if they want to get rid of their age-old tradition of not paying students a scholarship. But if you think about it, those are small schools, and the cost to go there is a lot. So if you start handing out a paid scholarship for every student athlete there, that's pretty expensive for those schools. So I think that one can get stomped out, but now kind of the idea is seated in everyone's mind. So I don't know, maybe Moen has an idea. He's kind of had a better grasp on the student athlete employee with a conference idea.
Right. If they're going to be conference employees, what you're going to see happen is talent getting funneled into two conferences. Nobody's going to be able to compete with the kind of money the SEC and the Big Ten can pay players. So you need to have federal legislation that sets that rate. So everybody's making the exact same amount of money if you're in a Division I football program.
I agree 100,000%. And I think we're ways off. But these two things that happen to be in the Ivy League are definitely going to be legal precedents that are going to drive where we end up being. Now, how quickly that happens, none of us know. But the horizon could be short. The horizon could be 5 years. The horizon, in my opinion, is probably closer to 10. But if you go by what Bob Thompson said for months and months, he's actually a little bit surprised by how quickly things have changed in the amount of time that's gone by. He's not shocked that changes happened, but some of the changes that have come through, he's been surprised by. So, and a lot of that has to do with poor choices by, poor choices by some of these conferences, not really leading, just following and hoping somebody will take care of them.
Yep.
Anyway, before we move on, I want to call out some of our first people that are here tonight. Nathan Campbell's in the house. Cougar Track, one of our valued members, is here. Let's see, Immaculate, Owen, Wild Ute, Steve, Ojai, Florida is here. Jared Jones, good to see Jared. Get down here. Ag Biochemist is in the building. Good to see you, Ag. And all right, that's going to be it. So here's a question from Cougar Track, or statement. He says, first it's scholarship, then NIL, and now union. So is that the next step? Is the unions the only thing that could be a possible next step, or is there something that could be in between?
I think unions are the next step, and it's just the compensation of players from the schools directly. That's where we're going. That is the next step. It's going to happen. What's weird about it, again, is the NIL component with that. How does NIL work in that new world? Is it just the compensation from the schools in the future?
Right.
Or are we going to have these, boosters and stuff, and these collectives paying players too on the side, so they're just making ridiculous amounts of money? I don't see how they even take away NIL. That's never going away.
Mm-hmm.
So
no.
It's just such a mess, guys. Really, even if you pay players directly and stuff, NIL is still going to be such a big player in this game and stuff. I'm paying them more and everything. So it's just going to be a blend of both of them in my view. And that is the next level and stuff. And I think that, that's where we're going with this.
Ag Biochemist says repeal the NCAA. I think a lot of people are thinking that right now.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2014. They're going to talk that talk and push that push, and the NCAA is going to back down and give them what they want. And so we'll have more of the same, just a little more power with the auto conferences.
All right, that's very fair. So anything else about Washington State and Oregon State? Obviously, that's been the talk of the town since Monday when there was the ruling, right? And we've had several shows where we've talked about that in detail. Now that we're to the end of this week and we're getting ready for football games again, regular news cycle is going to kick in, and there's going to be some fallback from Washington State and Oregon State being at the top of the wheel, right? But this weekend, Oregon State plays Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
How awkward is that? It's weird.
A lot of talk.
Right.
Wait, Oregon
ahead.
State doesn't play Washington State this week.
It's next week.
I think it's next week.
Oh, it's next week. I apologize.
Right.
I apologize.
Part of that big week 4.
Okay. That's my fault. I thought it was
You're
this
good.
week. I read the wrong week on the ranking. So who does Oregon State play this week? Do you guys know in Washington State?
San Diego State.
I think San Diego State's going to get thumped.
Oh, yeah.
I think Oregon State's going to try to destroy them.
Yeah, it's Northern Colorado at Washington State.
And Washington State is going to go out and score 1 billion points against these. They want to make a point about their schools and their universities.
Oh, yeah.
So do all of us still agree that both of those schools deserve to be in a power conference?
Absolutely. They deserve to be in a power conference. They're top 25 teams right now.
I know.
Oregon State last year, had that amazing run. How are they not that? There's 69, 70 teams in the P5 now. They belong. They're top 25 programs at the moment. So I don't see how they don't. But as we all know, it's not about success on the field. It's not a meritocracy, right? It's just your TV ratings. That's the game, right? And your financial position. If you're SMU, really, it's just
your political position. Yeah.
Seriously, there's a lot of things that shouldn't matter that do matter in this game.
That's the unfortunate part.
Yep. And how many? SMU being in and Oregon
so let's
State
talk
being
about
out stinks.
Let's talk about that for a second. Don't we? I'm voting. I'm cheering against the ACC because they brought in SMU. Am I
Okay.
alone in that, or do you think there's other people
Nope.
cheering the same way?
I'm cheering against every team that said yes on that. The
I
ones that
agree.
said no, I'll give them a pass. All the ones that said
Yes.
yes, I hope they lose every game. Except when they play each other. I hope that ends in a 9 overtime tie or something.
Right.
To me, I'm not rooting for them or against them. In a way, it's kind of I kind of almost respect them because I don't think SMU is getting in as much for them paying their way in as they are for that location for everyone to play their games against Stanford in California. I think that's actually the bigger gain for the ACC with SMU than the money. It's the fact that so many of those games now they're only going to have to travel halfway across the country instead of all the way across the country.
Right.
I think that there's maybe some better choices they could have made instead of SMU, but SMU got that spot because of the money. But I think the service that they're providing as that middleman for the like Olympic style games,
Mhm.
that's so. No, I don't like that it's going down this way, but in kind of an imaginative way to make it possible for them, I kind of respect it, but I think that's more signatory of what the ACC is going to be. I'm a pretty staunch advocate that it's going to become like a private university focused conference in the future, and SMU provides that in the city of Dallas. So,
And the reason you say that is because you're eventually projecting when the conference begins to break up. When you lose 3 or 4 to the SEC and the SEC and the Big Ten,
Mhm.
And who knows how many might decide to join the Big 12. You're
Mhm.
thinking that private university group, including
Mhm.
Notre Dame, would be sort of its own conference.
Yes.
That's one of the ideas that's been put out there. I just want to clarify for everybody that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I don't know all the moves and how that happens. I'm not there. I'm not in the rooms having these talks, but
Right.
it just kind of seems to me like the what we're doing is we're going from having 5 models or 5 conferences with the same model
Right.
to now having 5 or 4 conferences with individual models. None of them are going to be the same. They're all different models, and I think that actually has like a synergistic of effect where the overall value is greater than what the entire A5 had previously, if that makes any sense.
It's quite possible. Obviously, nobody can predict the future.
Nope.
But yeah, that's definitely an option. Jared Jones says, I'm not alone. I appreciate that, Jared. Before we move on to our picks, I want to do a couple call outs. First, again, everybody who's here, we got 27 people. It's a Friday evening. I appreciate everybody being here. All 4 of us really appreciate you guys as fans, and we hope that we're bringing content to you that you like. If there's suggestions you want to give us, send us DMs on Twitter. Let us know what we could be doing better to give you information or provide entertainment, because that's really what we're trying to do. The second piece of business is if you want to join the channel as a member, go to the Big 12 Mafia page. There's a join button about in middle of the page down. Click on that and you go through your different options to subscribe. You become a paying member. And then we always prefer those statements and questions that are in the comment section. Also, you could do a super chat. Super chats are always read. So if you really want to get something off your chest and it's not something you think I might normally read, make it a super chat and I guarantee I'll read it. Okay. Before we get to picks, let's see if there's any others here. Cougar Track says, could they bring OSU and Wazoo into the Big 12 if they play for free for 6 or 7 years? I
They
want them in the
should.
Big 12.
Yeah, they can't afford
They can't
Yeah.
afford that, guys. They're not SMU. They don't have $200 million just laying around in a booster's pocket.
We already
Right.
saw what happened with Washington State with their whole athletic department in the red.
You know what? Actually, let's really examine this. On the surface, I agreed that I was thinking about the actual financials that we looked at for Mountain West teams.
Right.
Guys, like Mountain West is paying like $6 million a year.
Yeah.
Like,
And
like, so if you do a cost benefit analysis and like on the financial side and stuff, there probably is a world where you don't take payments for 3 or 4 years and you get out a lot better and stuff if you can bridge it with like loans and everything at the university. So that has to be an option actually. If that was ever thrown out there, really, that would be the best decision to take no payments for 3 or 4 years, probably over 5, 6, 7 million bucks in the Mountain West. That's death. You're dying in the Mountain West. You're done if you're in the Mountain West. So
it's why I really like the idea of them taking some schools from the Mountain West and going and becoming the Western wing of the AAC, because at least there's a higher payment, and that agreement is with ESPN. And is it just ESPN, or it might also be with Fox? But it's open for renegotiation upon increased value, which
That's
clearly,
what they've talked about. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, Oresco's come out and said they're not into it anymore. So clearly, the talk is between the Pac-2 and the Mountain West. But yeah, I don't get the math. I don't understand where they're going with it,
Right.
unless it's to try to, because even if you keep the Pac network and everything with it, that's not going to keep the same insertion on cable networks with that lineup as it did with the original lineup, and that original lineup had problems getting the Pac network on. So
Right.
I got, I hate saying it because we like all of our Oregon State fans and Washington State fans to come around, but I'm just not seeing it right now. There's got to be something there that we can't see.
Well, I see it, and the best way I see it is they win this lawsuit. They own the Pac-12 and all its resources, and they basically say, we're bringing this with us. This war chest of money that's going to be coming in the NCAA credits. There's lots of ways that they could leverage what they own, but they have to own it outright. They can't share it with 10 other schools. So that is really going to make a difference when they finally do a ruling on all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Jason's here. He says, hit the like button. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. If you're still watching, I sent you a DM with a StreamYard link if you want to join us for a few minutes. Always love to see you.
Don't get him on the picks. He'll probably smoke us.
Maybe. I don't know. And then Mike Smith says, holy moly, who knew Moen had hair? I miss mine.
Yeah.
When I cut it, I donate locks of love, and it was over 2.5 foot. Wow.
dude,
Okay.
Moen, you look like you should be in Guns N' Roses. So I keep looking at you. It's so amazing. It's like
I'm
the
wearing
best thing
it's
tonight.
for the backyard brawl, guys. It's for the backyard
You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
just be this. This is
I
you,
gotta
man.
blend in.
Jason said he's going to join us in just a minute, so
Nice.
we're going to stall for a couple more minutes here. Another thing that I wanted to bring up as a news item for later is, where are we with the conferences as they stand today? Are we going to end up just with the 4 soon, or does the Pac-12 have a chance to hang on to their power status?
Oh, they don't have any shot.
Do they have a
It's
chance?
gonna be
Yes, it's like maybe that much of a chance, maybe.
But you're
That's-
saying there's
that's
a
how
chance.
small. But I'm saying there's a chance.
But you're saying there's a chance. Okay.
I'm
Well-
gonna go out on the line here, guys. They're holding up CFP business. The CFP business is supposed to happen at the end of this month.
Yes.
I am thinking that the networks are going to make some kind of a deal, and that Oregon State and Washington State are going to be in the Big 12.
Whoa.
It's going to have to
Whoa,
be
back
a
up, back
smaller
up.
payment.
I would love that.
Otherwise, this holds everything up. That's 2 meetings in a row that would have been basically pushed off. They need to get that done and taken care of for 2024 so they can move on to figuring out what they're going to do in the future. I think it's not going to be a great deal. I think it's going to be clearly less pay than everyone else in the Big 12. But, what are you going to do? Take $15 million? All right, let's go.
I think it's possible.
Because that's, if you take that
I think it's
$15 million,
possible.
that's basically one payment for 2 schools. If they're getting 31 plus something, divided in half, you each get a half payment. It's like adding 1 school.
I've told all my OSU followers, and I think Ute has done this as well, that if they just go out and ball out, they be the best team that they can be this year, and they don't sign anything. They're not in a rush. They have 2 years with their conference before it actually blows up. So they're just patient and they wait. They have a great season, both of them. Then they come back to the table and they can say, hey, look, this is where we're at. And then whatever they win from the lawsuit, they can then turn around and try to leverage that. I think they could end up in the Big 12.
The problem with staying in the Pac by themselves is scheduling. So then you have to bring in the Mountain West. And then if you bring in the Mountain West and then you ditch them and you go, now all of a sudden all the litigation you're bringing against your old memberships now gets brought on you by the Mountain West because of the damage you've done to them.
Right.
It gets real messy. And That's why I say all of this turns long term. If this goes to the courts, it goes long terms. It holds up all this other business, and that business is worth way more than, let's say, $30 million. I don't think Fox wants to pay it out. I don't necessarily think the Big 12 wants it, but it's kind of like, okay, good job. You guys have held things up enough that we have to acquiesce, and it's just the easy, simple solution. I know $15 million each is not cheap, but timing right now is just, it seems to be such a big deal. Everything's going so fast.
Mike Smith. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you structure a deal like this has never been done. Don't know if this ever would be done, but I would be trying to consider something like this if I was Wazoo or Oregon State, where you structure, a deal where you accept a 50% distribution over the not only the life of this contract, but the life of you being in that conference.
Right.
Just to avoid going into the Mountain West or the Mountain West jumping over the Pac-2. Seriously, are we going to a day where you say that to the Big 12, hey, we'll take 50% cuts forever? That's going to be the agreement forever, just to be in your conference. I mean, at some point that has to be financially viable for the networks and stuff to pony up the money for that. That's the only way that I could see it really happening.
Isn't that what Rutgers essentially did? They, for 10 years, they foregoed 80% or so. What is it, Moen? What was the number?
It wasn't that much.
It wasn't that much.
How much
was
it?
Their problem was they took out loans against future earnings, and that's what's caused them to have so much problems today. Is they just kept taking out loans to improve facilities, and now the loan has matured. It's time to come calling. So.
And I think the Big Ten was part of that and getting that. So payments that would have gone to Rutgers were going towards those loans, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, we got Hall of Fame college football. Jason Watkins in the house. How you doing, Jason?
There he is.
Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Doing good. So I saw you pop on there. I thought you might want to come on for a couple of minutes. How are things going with Oklahoma?
Looking pretty good. Had a little drama this week, a little bit, but that's kind of normal around OU.
What happened?
Well, you had Lincoln Riley kind of throwing back to September or November of 21 and saying that, or actually, I guess after he bolted, that people were breaking into his house and stuff like that. Of course, there's nothing on the police records that say anything like that. But then you had before that, there've just been some stuff with Art Briles being at the game. He's of course Jeff Levy's father-in-law, and so that kind of popped up, and then they're not overly happy with his play calling in the last game. It's just kind of normal.
So who does Oklahoma play this week? I didn't look at their schedule.
Tulsa. They're at Tulsa, so should be a blowout. Getting ready for next week. Actually, I'll be in Cincinnati for their game. Against Cincinnati, so we'll see kind of how that goes. It looks like they're pretty good especially on the defensive line. That's probably one of the better defensive lines you'll see all year, but they got a dispatch of Tulsa, and then we'll see kind of how it goes from there. But they look pretty good so far defensively anyway.
I think that's really exciting that you're traveling to that Cincinnati game. I did see you posted that on Twitter. Are you paying that for yourself, or is an advertiser paying for that trip?
Well, I'm actually, there's maybe I'm kind of out there to take a look at or want to talk to an advertiser.
Oh, cool.
Partner and stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, that's fantastic.
I'm just excited to go out there and check it out, man. Apparently it's a great place to watch football and, cool campus and everything like that. So it's kind of a good deal. And, so.
Nippert's a great stadium.
That's what I hear. I keep hearing it's, in the middle of campus. So I guess you got to kind of walk to it a little bit, from what I understand. But, go out there and check out the Skyline Chili and some of that other stuff. I hear it's real good, so we'll check it out.
Well, I am not going to vouch for Skyline Chili. We've apologized for Skyline Chili on many occasions. That's a Cincinnati-only thing. I do not agree with putting chili on spaghetti noodles. I don't agree with putting cinnamon in chili. That is not an all-Ohio thing, people. That is strictly reserved for the kings of Hamilton County.
You're going to have to come back and give us a report on that then, man.
I've heard some different stuff about it, but I've heard some people say it's great and some people say it's not. But actually, there's a friend of ours, a friend of the show from, he lives out that way somewhere, and he said that it's not bad at all. So, we'll see. I guess I'll check it out.
Sounds like I love it or hate it.
The Big Lubbock is one of our followers, and he's telling you to keep the Longhorns off your channel. Can you go ahead and do that?
Keep the Longhorns off. I'm
Yeah.
not generally on there too much. We did have I did have Nino from Nino's Corner on there this past week and stuff, but he's pretty good.
Very
He's a
good.
good guy. They're super excited about their win over Alabama last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of
Rightfully
those,
so.
yeah, no doubt, no
Yeah.
doubt. I think they should definitely be happy about it. But it's funny how everybody's, oh, you're already moving the goalposts. Everybody's talking bad about Alabama.
It's like a Sith moment, man. The apprentice just overtook the master.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. I'll tell you how much I believe in Sark.
Yeah. I mean, I look at their offensive line and I'm just kind of blown away by that. I mean, I don't know. How do you get that much beef? You being from Oklahoma, maybe you have an answer for that, but Texas, I'm a little impressed.
Yeah, they got the money.
Sure.
They got the money. They that was the first thing, smartly, I think, and that's one of the things I've always said about Sark is that he's definitely he recruits well. I think that the problems that they have, there's a lot of culture issues at Texas. I think that it's something that he's trying to work out, but I just think he's kind of he's a 500 guy, man. If you look at his record,
Right.
Right.
he's just a 500 guy. They call him 7-win Sark for a reason.
Is
You
is
know,
it is Texas up or is Alabama down?
See, and that's I don't know. I still feel like I think it's a good win. You know what I mean? I
Right.
think that they announced today that Tyler Buckner is going to start tomorrow. Of course, they're not really playing anybody tomorrow either. I think it's kind of one of those things we're trying to figure out what they've got in him. Which, if you ask the coach, he's going to tell you not much. He's being a Notre Dame fan. That's where Tyler Buckner came from. He said he can't. This is his all the time quote is that he couldn't throw to feed the starving birds. So
That's pretty harsh. That's
You mean
pretty harsh.
you're not giving South Carolina or South Florida any odds there? Home game against Alabama?
yeah, I tend to doubt that. And I mean, they shouldn't do too well. But that being said, it was weird to me that, and this kind of goes back to Notre Dame stuff. But Tommy Rees, he didn't seem to put him in the right position for a guy like Jaden Milroe. He's a big guy. He can throw it a little bit, but they should have been running that ball, and it just
Yes.
seemed like that at the time of the game when you needed to, it seemed like they put him in a position where they had to throw when they didn't need to, and that's surprising to me. But that being said, sometimes you're going to see Nick Saban lose a game here and there that he shouldn't lose, and then he may not lose again. I still don't know that I trust anybody else in the West of the SEC to win out. I don't trust Brian Kelly and LSU.
No.
I certainly don't trust who's the
Jimbo?
quarterback at Tennessee. Jimbo of
Fisher.
course not.
Yeah.
They should
No.
just get rid of him and
They
have
got-
Patino take over. Petrino.
They
Seriously.
got oh yeah, they got trashed by Miami of all people.
I know
but
most of us picked Texas A&M
Texas
in that
A&M.
game. I
Yep.
need to
Last
remember
time, man.
I'm
Never
never
again.
picking with them again. Never
yeah,
picking
listen,
Texas A&M.
yeah, I think that either I would pick against them or not pick the game at all.
There you.
So it's
I
it's one
love
of
it.
those that gamblers just stay away from.
All right.
yeah.
Well, we're gonna go through a bunch of picks. Do you want to stick around for a couple of them?
Yeah, let me listen in.
All right, very good. By the way, Kaufman's here. He's been gone for a little while. Kaufman's one of our members. Thank you very much for being a paying member, first of all, Kaufman. And it's good to see you. Stick around and help us pick some winners and losers here for these games coming up.
That's
Let me
right.
just check to see if there's any other comments here before I move.
Hey, Jason, I've got a question for you though. Like this,
You bet. Go ahead.
it seems like there's a lot of
Wow, dude.
momentum going on right now with Oklahoma. And so
I think so.
Is Oklahoma going to be a playoff contender this year? That's my question to you.
Ooh.
I tell you, I think that with the schedule that they have, they should be. They should have an opportunity to get in. Now, I would tell you that Texas is very good. I hesitate to say that they're back because I don't buy into that BS, but because I still feel like they're going to find a way to kind of lose it. And I still think K-State is probably the best team in the Big 12 right now. Just going off of what they did last year, plus what they look like so far. And I like Will Howard a lot, you know. I think that they're pretty good. But the good with Oklahoma, they don't play K-State. The other team that everybody kind of thought was that going to be that team that's going to really press for the Big 12 championship game, which they still have it in front of them, would be Texas Tech. They also play Texas. They don't play Oklahoma. Oklahoma really, they don't have anybody on their schedule from the conference that was picked to win more than 7.5 games. And I think we might all be wrong about how good Cincinnati was going to be. With Dante Corleone and that defensive line, I think they're really good. So I think it's kind of a great game for me to be going to next week. That being said, if you look at that first week, and of course it was against a nobody, but 73-0 is significant. SMU's a lot better than I think a lot of people will give them credit for. Although, their whole stuff with the ACC is kind of weird to me. But but they've got a heck of a quarterback. They got a heck of a coach, and I think that even they shut them down almost completely. The touchdown that they gave up, it was along with about 40 yards on that drive of penalties just on it. But the defense has been night and day different. And so that's something that as an Oklahoma fan, you haven't seen in a long time. You just haven't seen that kind of defensive. They're flying around the football. Danny Stutzman make 17 tackles last week. It put him on the watch for the Walter Camp Award. There's just a lot of excitement around the program again. Finally, to have a defense, and then you've got this offense that is explosive. So, yeah, I feel like the momentum's kind of moving in the direction you want to see it moving, and the schedule sets up that I still feel like BYU at the end of the year is going to be one of those really tough ones because it's on the road, and then you've got this road game against Cincinnati coming up. I think the other ones that you probably look at that are going to be tough are going to be probably Kansas on the road. Yeah. And then I don't know. John Rice Plumlee's already hurt, and I was surprised that they got that win in Boise, but it was all they could do to get it in UCF. So they'd get them at home. So I still feel like, you should get through this thing at worst with 10 wins, I think.
For sure.
Which 10 wins isn't going to get you into the playoff. But if you could do 11-1, like say they only lose to Texas, or maybe even they win that one and only lose to, say, BYU or Cincinnati, I could see them. I think it's a possibility. I'm not sure that I really am ready to completely drink that Kool-Aid just yet. And we want to see, as fans, they looked pretty good defensively the first 3 games last year, and then they lost 3 in a row. So, I'm pumping the brakes a little bit on my expectations, but I know a lot of people around the program aren't. So
that makes sense.
It's a good question, though.
All right.
I really like those Utes, though. They're starting to.
There you
I
go.
saw some bowl projections with Oklahoma and Utah in the Alamo. I hope we get to higher places, but hey, that would be a dang game. Good game right there.
It would be. I think that after everything that Lincoln had to say this week, everybody that wanted to kind of hope for them to, I still feel like they're going to go 8-4, but it might not be a bad idea. It'd be kind of good if Oklahoma got to meet them in a game somewhere and kick the crap out of them.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
All right, let's move on to a couple picks. I got another guest coming on in a couple minutes, so let's get to a couple picks and see where everybody's at with them. So I'm going to leave BYU and Arkansas for last. Let's pick from the bottom up. TCU in Houston, and it's Houston plus 7.5.
I'll
Go around the board. I don't
we'll
care.
go around the board. So I think that in this one, I think that you got to take TCU.
So
You
TCU minus 7.5.
I think TCU minus 7.5. I don't have much faith in this Houston squad. They just seem like the worst Big 12 team this year to me. So I don't think that TCU is a world beater here, but I think that
Right.
Houston's so bad that they'll lose by more than 7.5.
Okay, is there anybody that takes Houston in the points?
No, I think TCU's got the offense and Houston doesn't have the defense, so I think it's a pretty good pick.
Okay. All right, go ahead and put everybody down for that then. Immaculate.
Gotcha.
Minnesota at UNC. UNC's minus 7.
I've got North Carolina. I'm taking North Carolina. That's an easy bet for me. I think North Carolina is going to beat them by at least 14.
Yep, I'm saying. I think that's what I was thinking exactly is 14. So
This game's at North Carolina.
yeah,
Yes.
I want to pick Minnesota so bad.
do it.
No way they have the offense for that, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Cougar Track says UNC.
you know what? I'm going Minnesota.
Nice.
They're gonna. We'll see. UNC. I think wins the game, but less than 7.
All
So
I think
put me on the
I'll
board
take
for Minnesota.
I'll take Minnesota in the points.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, good. We're doing a little good. We're not all picking the same.
That's right. Let's see here. South Carolina at Georgia minus 27.
You guys are
Holy smokes! South
Yeah.
Carolina,
Georgia.
Georgia,
it's a
27.
lot. It's a lot of points.
I
I'm
they were
taking
up by
South
more than
Carolina.
that
I'm
last
taking
year in the
South
first
Carolina.
quarter.
All right, he's taking
I-
South Carolina.
I will take South Carolina. I think Shane Beamer's going to bounce back. I think good special teams will get 14 points off of special teams, and it'll be enough to. Georgia's going to still win by 21 points, but
It's quite a,
I think the
pick.
point spread is too high. I think the spread is just too high.
What do you guys
27
think?
points makes no sense. That is nuts. This game should be like a 14-point spread. Like
Let me
South
get-
Carolina. Like,
Let me get to a couple. Scrolled past. Let me get a couple picks in, and then I'll tell you what I think. So Nathan Campbell says he's taking Minnesota.
Mhm.
Mike
Ooh, yeah.
Smith says UNC barely won the last game. That 7 points is tempting, which is what I think
tantalizing.
we all were saying. And then Cougar Track says he picks Georgia. I'm going to take South Carolina in the points.
Same. South Carolina the points.
That's a lot of points.
I would lay
See,
those
SPC?
points, man. I think South Carolina's trash.
See,
Complete trash.
you guys just all pick South Carolina. I was like, oh, I'm going to be the odd one. I'm going to take South Carolina, and all they're going to go Georgia. Now you all went South Carolina, so you know what? I'm freaking taking Georgia.
You're taking
Take
Georgia.
Georgia. Take
Taking Georgia at
do it.
home. They're getting the points.
All right. The Ag Biochemist says I'll
Putting my
take
lead on the line. I got to keep that lead on you guys.
Is Spencer Rattler hurt or something?
No, but he's
I don't-
terrible.
No,
He
he's
is
just
not
playing
terrible.
well.
He was
is
playing great at the end of
terrible.
last season.
He's just not playing great.
Oh,
I'm
that's
taking
so funny.
South Carolina.
All right, so-
I'm going to bet that myself.
The
Okay,
biggest
so-
question this is we don't know how good Georgia is, but we know they're good. And
So
are they this good? We'll see.
Ag Biochemist says I'll take the over on Georgia. So a lot of people going with the front runner. I still think 27 points is a lot of points. So
It is. That's a
Anyway.
lot.
yeah, I think that's that is a lot. Nathan Campbell says he'll take SC. Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to see. I think that's a really good one that we got to pick.
Yep.
Let's see here. I think we'll do Pitt, West Virginia.
Yeah, this is Moan. Moan, this is all you.
Moen, you pick first.
Rockstar.
Eat shit, Pitt. West Virginia all the way.
Man,
I love this show.
yeah. So I love that too. I mean, West Virginia. I just want West Virginia to win so bad, so I'm going to take them in the points. Pitt,
Okay.
there's something about Pitt that's really unlikable. Is that just me?
No, Pitt is always
No.
like that.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just like when I
Maybe
run
it's
into
just
Pitt
kinda like
fans,
JJ.
they're real smug out there. It's like
Yeah.
shocking a little bit. So I guess I'm a little biased, but I really think West Virginia is going to win this
You know
game
what's
outright.
you know what's funny about that, Ute, is that Pitt acts like Utah has earned.
Yeah.
So they think they're the Eastern version of Utah, but they haven't won anything to get there. So that's where there's a big disconnect. They have the same ego that you guys do. The difference is you guys have a program that's in the top 20 every year.
Years ago.
They've won the ACC a few times, but the ACC isn't the top heavy Pac-12. Anyway,
So who do you got?
who's picked who? I want to know who everybody's picked first.
West Virginia.
Moan and Philly have both gone West Virginia.
Who are you taking?
Well, since you asked me first, I am a friend of the show, Coos, has had me on, and it was a great conversation, and I would love to do that again someday. Since it's straight up, it's at home, man, I got to take West Virginia for Coos.
Yeah, I think West Virginia's good at home. I would
think
take
they're gonna
West
win it.
Virginia.
I think
Yeah.
straight up,
Yeah.
I'd take that.
Steve Ohio, Florida says Pitt goes 0-2 versus Big 12 in consecutive weeks. That's why they don't want to join the Big 12. Right
All right,
there.
I gotta go on the record here, Bomber. I'm going
Yeah.
for Pitt on this one. Just,
You're doing
just so
Pitt,
you guys
okay.
know, I'm going Pitt on this one, just so I can be anti the panel here.
All right, that
Right.
sounds
Bad
good.
boy.
All right.
All right, Jason, we got our new guest, so I got to let you go. Thank you so much being on here, man.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on. And real quick, you guys, if you don't have Oklahoma State, Alabama, South Alabama on here, go South Alabama with the points. It's an easy one.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Wow, that's a
Okay.
shade.
And he's not
All
wrong.
right.
South Alabama looks
All
good.
right. All right.
He's not wrong. Watch
He's not
and see.
wrong. He's
We'll
not.
have to
All right,
see.
fellas.
All
Have a
right.
good one.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks.
Talk to
See
you
you,
later.
Jason.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, fellas.
Oh, that was so fun. I appreciate that. All right. With us now, joining the stage, this is Captain Butter. How you doing,
Butter.
Johnny?
Good. How's
Number
it
one
going?
fan in America.
Good. So why don't you tell everybody why you're here and what are you good at?
You could say I'm good at flying planes, I guess.
You are
may-
good at flying planes.
and maybe controlling them, controlling my track in the sky, I guess.
Exactly. So I'm going to show everybody this just so everybody knows what we're dealing with here. Sorry, got to turn off the sound. Here we go. So explain what we're watching here.
Yeah, so that's my flight track.
So, jeez.
So
Imagine,
wild, man.
You know, if I had smoke behind me, you'd be able to see that. If you looked up, you'd be able to see that in the sky. I guess it'd be reversed, but
Butters, what a flight track.
yeah.
So what gave you the idea to do this?
You know, I mean, so I'm a pilot. I need about 200 more hours before I get to the airline. So I've already got the job. I just have about 200 more hours before I can, legally get my license to fly in the airline.
Right.
So I was like, I got 200 hours here. I could either go fly in circles and just fly to random places, or I could, maybe just draw something in the sky. It just kind of came to me. So I did that last week for SUU, and then that actually kind of blew up. I didn't expect people to even see that at all. And now we got Arkansas up there, and people love that one again. So
Wait. Let's back up a second. This is legitimate? You did this? Like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
isn't just like something you put on social media?
Like a flight
No.
simulator? Is that what
You flew this?
this is
Butters?
physically flown. Yeah, this is
Unreal.
This is in like a 4-seater airplane, just hand flown. I'm able to follow. I kind of use some Google Earth magic. I'm a magician, so I can't ever share my tricks or anything. But I got some,
Multi-talented, all
Google
right.
Earth magic to help me kind of follow the flight track that I'm trying to get, and that's what turns out on from above. That's what it looks like.
So just to clarify where this is for everybody, this is up by Bellingham, Washington. Where is
Yep.
your actual home base at?
Yeah, I mean home base. I live in Bellingham right now.
Oh, do
Moved
you?
up from
Okay.
Utah about a year or so. We're up
Okay.
in Bellingham. So, yep.
Okay. And the idea you came up with this was a lark, but now it's turned into something. Who pays for this fuel?
Yeah, that's I mean I've just kind of got like a time building loan, so it's basically me. It's coming out of my pocket, and that's gonna have to get paid back at a later date. So but it's just as part of becoming an airline pilot. You got a ton of hours you got to make, and
It's
some
like
of them you got to
tuition,
pay
right?
for. Yeah, it's kind of like tuition. Yep, I've heard it compared to like a doctor's tuition, because it can be pretty pricey stuff.
Yep.
Becoming a pilot. So yep.
So
I'll be honest,
go ahead.
Butters. Like, I'm a Ute fan. This is
Yeah.
this is the coolest thing I've ever seen a BYU folk do.
I appreciate that.
No offense, Bomber, but like this, look at this thing. Like seriously,
offense.
Butters is flying. Gee.
I'm not flying a plane. What do you mean? No offense.
This is the greatest thing that BYU's ever done right here.
Well,
From
that's
UConn's
not true.
perspective.
I'm
That's
not afraid to say that this probably puts him in the running for #1 fan in America. I don't know if anyone's gone to this
Do
degree.
people? I mean, do people? They have to know about this, right? Am I the only one that doesn't know about this beforehand? This is amazing.
I came
Yeah.
across it last week,
Yeah.
and I tried getting a hold of him last week, and we couldn't quite connect. But we connected today, and was it last night? I guess, Butters.
Yeah.
And we talked about doing some stuff, and so I think what we're going to do is we're going to be doing some spaces after the BYU games, specifically if they win. If they get blown out or they're not in the game at all, I'm not going to do a Twitter Spaces on that. But if they even can stay close and have a good showing, we'll do a Twitter Spaces afterwards. So that's kind of why. I wanted to bring him on, introduce him to you guys, let you know that he's going to be doing some stuff with me. And, we'll probably have you on the show several times. I think what you do is really cool fandom. And I think we have a lot of people that obviously it's Big 12 Mafia. So we have people from all around the country that watch this show. So their questions and involvement is really important at this point. So another question I have is, how long did it take?
Yeah, that one from like the top of the Y to the end of the S, probably a little over 2.5 hours. Full flight's obviously like 3.5 hours, but just tracking 2.5 about. So, yeah.
I'm curious. Is ESPN aware of this?
No, I think I've seen some people try to tag them. I haven't.
This needs to be on game day. I'm serious. This is amazing stuff, guys.
Yeah,
really does.
It surprised me how many people have been able to see it even so far. But I think people really like it, so it works out.
Do you guys have any other questions for him? Let me see if we got some questions.
I just
in the
have
wing.
one.
Yeah, go ahead.
One big question that I'm itching and dying to ask.
Okay.
What did it take for you to did you have to get approval for this flight plan from any agency? And what did it take to get that done?
Yeah, so the airspace I'm flying in over the San Juan Islands here, it's all uncontrolled essentially.
Okay.
It's, any pilot would know it's Class E airspace. So yeah, there's really no requirement as far as,
Nice.
Where I can fly up there. So I can draw whatever I want out there.
So you're saying at the end of this, when it says beat Arkansas, you could keep going at the end of that and be like, go Big 12 Mafia?
I could, yeah, exactly. I could. Only restriction we've got is fuel. Essentially, I've got about 4 to 5 hours of flight time I can do without running out of fuel. So
that's probably a lot.
Bomber's gonna need to save some cash.
You guys in chat are gonna have to chip in.
Hey, everybody,
membership, guys.
Everybody, give me a super chat right now, and so we can give money to Captain Butter. To do
Big 12 Mafia logo.
At Big 12 Mafia, yeah. I'm the first one to get you on a show. I found your great early, so
exactly.
I think that's a great idea.
All right. There you go.
Sounds good.
Butter, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I think it's
at first I didn't believe it, like when I saw it on Twitter or on X.
I appreciate it.
Like this isn't real, is it? And then I was like,
wow. I brought it up last night. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what are you even talking about? We've never even seen this before. And so there was some trust issues. So I think it's pretty amazing that now it's become mainstream. And what you're doing, it's fantastic. Obviously, it's great fandom. And a lot of people respect the work. Cougar Tracks here is one of our members, says, how tall are the letters?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I can measure it. So from the horizontal, I measured that. That was 35 nautical miles. So I'm assuming it's, maybe 8. I guess each letter would probably be about a mile, maybe a little less. But it's a good question. I'll go measure it. It's on my phone. So
personal suggestion: BYU is traveling to Texas on October 28th, and by that time, if Texas is still in the running for things, there's probably going to be a lot of ESPN, looks on them. Might be another good time to break out one of these.
No, you have to do that. This will get on game day.
I mean,
we got to make that happen, Bomber, somehow.
I'm working on it.
We have to.
Yeah, my plan is, I mean, just do it every week as long as I can, get a window and I've still got
Right.
enough money to keep flying it. So my plan is every week.
Well, that Ag Biochemist says super chats for jet fuel. So we've got, and then Jared Jones says asking you Sal Rashid.
There we
So
go. All right.
what we'll do is if you guys want money to go to Johnny, who AKA Captain Butter, to add Big 12 Mafia to the next flight plan, give me money now in a super chat, and I'll make sure he
Give me
gets
money.
it. I'll make sure he gets it.
All right, we'll get it done.
Yeah, here's already $20. Oh, here's one. Here's a super sticker from Cougar Tracks for $5. So we're up to $30. Keep
We're
going,
getting there.
people.
We're getting there. How much is the jet fuel? What's the cost are we looking at here?
Yeah, so the planes I'm flying, they're piston engines, so we're not actually using jet fuel, but it's called avgas, so it's kind of similar to car fuel. But yeah, I mean, right now per gallon it's up about $8, $7 per gallon where I'm at. So these flights get pretty pricey. This one was probably maybe $300, 300 plus. So
Okay, so
it's-
I've got a question for you. Okay, so
Yeah.
if somehow the funds come in right here, would you
Yeah.
would you do anything for the University of Utah?
yeah. I mean, well, so the problem is, problem with that is that I'm not a Utah fan, but no, I'm open to any other schools other than Utah.
Oh my gosh!
I'll
Sorry.
get you a Holy War. I can get you we can get a Holy War logo or something like that.
There you
I'd
go.
love to be
The
all these
Holy-
involved.
There you go. Holy rivals. We can do
I mean,
Holy War.
you know what?
Absolutely.
You can get Utah in it when BYU plays them and it says beat Utah, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Oh,
Feel
there
love.
you go.
Don't you dare!
Jason Watkins, just in Hall of Fame college football, says, "Gentlemen, I have a game day show tomorrow." He's talking to you and me, Johnny.
Okay. Yeah.
Would love to have him on, and Bomber, you too. So
Great.
we
Yeah.
can get that set up. What's your schedule like tomorrow? I know you and I are going to be talking after the BYU game, but what
Yeah.
are your availability for tomorrow?
I've got 2 words for you: football and flying. So
Okay, all right,
we'll be
very
there.
good.
Let's
Okay,
do
here
that.
we go. Jared Jones says, "There you be, Moen, make it happen." So now we've got
There we go.
$60. $60 I can Venmo.
Flight
All right.
fund.
Yeah, it's done. It's a done deal.
It's done deal. We're doing it at Big
Done
12 Mafia,
deal.
baby.
Done deal. That's
At
a
Big 12
guarantee right
Mafia.
there.
That's it.
That's
Oh,
a business
man.
deal
There's
happening.
physical restrictions. I
live.
can't do it with the main, like the beat, blank Kansas. It'll be, but just due to physical fuel restrictions. But we can do a separate one. It's just Big 12 Mafia, we'll do something like that.
That would be
Unreal.
fantastic.
Jeez.
I'm so excited for it. Jared Jones, thank you for your donations. Who else? It was also a super sticker from Cougar Tracks. So that's $60. We'll get that taken care of, and we'll get that on the air. All right, Johnny, is there anything else you want to say, or anybody have any other questions for him before we let him go?
Like I said, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. So kudos,
Yeah.
seriously, as a Ute fan, I'm just saying, like, it's so cool. I think
Yeah,
everybody needs to see this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I've seen a lot of response. I mean, from honestly, the main response has been from BYU and Utah fans has both been really positive. And then honestly, Arkansas fans this week, a lot of Arkansas fans were able to see it and they thought it was awesome too. So I just appreciate everybody's support. I guess it's fun to do.
Cool.
And it's a good way to spend my time.
Cougar Track says, "Any what but Utah for another $5."
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
So now it's up to
Cougar Tracks.
$65.
Cougar Tracks and I just signed the no Utah
Pledge. No Utah pledge.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's fantastic.
Well, I could definitely say that you're my default #1 fan whenever that comes up in debates online.
I
There we
appreciate
go.
that.
Just so everybody knows, I'm going to post the link to this post. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. Here's the link to the post just in the comment section. Everybody go in, look up Captain Butters online on Twitter. Go to that link that I just posted in the chat. That takes you directly to this link, and let's bust this out there, everybody. Everybody needs to forward this on. I've sent it on probably 7 times. But let's get Johnny a bunch of publicity for this, because
No doubt.
this really is pretty amazing. And boy, Big 12. Once we have at Big 12 Mafia, that's going to blow everything up. Anyway,
Sure.
really quick before I let you go, what's your final score for BYU Arkansas? Do you think BYU can beat them?
I do. I'm feeling we're really good with these comeback years, with Baylor. We always do better in the second year. So my score is 28-26 BYU.
Really,
Nice.
that's a good score. Yeah, I have BYU winning. I don't think it's by. I think I have them by 4 points.
Okay.
So,
Well-
but either way, I think it's gonna be better than people think.
And I'm not going to go fly, beat Arkansas in the sky, and spend all that time doing that and not predict BYU to win the game. So
Right on. Right on.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I think that's totally
There's
fair.
an
I just
there.
I just thought I'd ask you just in case.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, hey, Johnny, we'll be talking tomorrow. Okay, I'll probably
Sounds
call
great.
you.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay.
Appreciate
All right. Thanks.
Okay,
All right,
go Cougs.
everybody.
You
Look
demand,
him up.
Johnny.
Appreciate it.
Go Cougs. I love it. Oh, thank
Well,
you
there's
so
the
much.
best BYU fan in the world right
Yeah,
there.
Good
That
luck
is
anyone
awesome.
wanting that crown over
Well,
this guy. Jeez.
Hey, Phil, listen, when it snows here, I'll go ahead and write Utah for you.
Yeah, is it going to be in yellow though?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that was
we're not not going to talk about colors. Is that
Yeah,
it?
no, okay. No, I'm just alluding to it. I'm definitely not going to say it.
All right, Jason. Yeah, just send me a text, Jason, and let me know, and then we'll get in contact and we'll do that. That'll be a great show. All right, let's clean these up. So we made it through half of them. I think everybody pick Pitt, West Virginia, Immaculate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
We're all West Virginia.
Let me make sure I've gotten all my super. Oh, we got one that I wanted to mention, even though it's not with any money. But Sergeant Pickles is here. He says, "Hey guys, at the Washington State Fair, still can't stay, but I have a UW covering over MSU." Oh, we didn't have Michigan State on here.
Let's pick that game real quick. I love.
Sure. Yeah, we can. I can add it right here.
Yeah, let me get you the
We
line.
know the line.
We need the line though.
Let me get it.
Is it UW at MSU or is it?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
It's,
I believe they're at
it's
Michigan.
at Michigan.
If they're at Michigan State, yeah, they're
It
at
ha-
Michigan State because it's on.
It's on
Okay.
Peacock. Yeah. It has
Okay,
to
and
be.
then what's the spread?
Yeah, hold on, I'm looking it up here.
Okay.
I can't believe that was real. I thought that was just like somebody on like social media, like
Right.
Johnny's little flight there, like
Right.
because I saw that somewhere and I was like, yeah, that's cool that somebody put that around. That's creative. I had no idea
So
he
it's-
did that.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
It's 16.5.
For Mrs. Who's ahead?
Washington.
Washington's
Washington's favorite.
plus 16.5.
16.5.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let's quickly pick that one then, since Pickles put this in. He also says the Pac-12 is going to go undefeated again. So, hey, there you go. All right, let's get this off. So, everybody, I'll take Washington minus the points.
I'll take Washington by over 16.5. So even with the points considered, I think that
Yeah.
Washington wins by 21 plus.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Immaculate. You go.
I'm Washington. I think Michigan State's going to be a mess. It's just unfortunate, but
Right.
I think with Washington coming in with that offense, I think it's going to be brutal. It's not a game I even want to watch. It's just going to be brutal to watch. It's going to be Washington by a lot.
Okay. We got a few comments here from people. Cougar Track says UW.
You want to let me pick that game? I
Gotta let Moen pick that game.
Oh, I thought he did. I apologize, Mo.
No.
No, he was waiting. He was waiting for some big announcement.
I'm sorry.
I'm taking Michigan State.
I saw
Wait,
that guy.
I'm
outright?
taking Michigan State and the points.
Okay.
I think with D'Antonio there, I think those kids are going to ball out on defense. I think it's going to be tougher and I know just 2 days ago I thought Washington was going to carve them up. I think it's going to be a tougher game than Washington anticipated.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that D'Antonio was coaching this game for Tucker. Is that the case? Is he going to be the interim
He is
head coach?
the assistant. He's got some. He's basically the head coach.
I'm changing my prediction then. I'm saying Washington wins, but I'm not taking those points anymore.
So
That's a
you're-
big deal
So you're going Michigan State.
Michigan
State
State with the points.
with the points. Yeah, I think Washington wins, but it's a lot closer for sure.
Wait,
Ag-
since it's not on here, can you tell me real quick what was the point spread again so I can write that down?
16.5.
16.5. Okay.
Ag Biochemist says definitely UW, but not the over. So he's in Utes, Utes country. Let's see here. Derek is under on Washington, so he's also with Ute. Mike Smith, are Michigan players going to wear free Mel t-shirts? Oh man, too early. Too early.
Man.
Derek says, I sent $5. It doesn't show, so I hope you get it. I don't see that in there, Derek. Yeah, usually it pops right up. Maybe it will come through. I just want to let you know I haven't seen it.
Look at that, a Ute fan contributing to the fuel cost of Big
I know.
12
You guys are bringing people together. Look at you.
Look at that.
Right.
Thanks, Derek. That's cool.
Mr. Monkey says Washington. Nathan Campbell says Bomber. Can you add OSU and Washington State game? That's next week, Nathan. I thought it was this week as well, but that game's next week. OSU versus Washington State is next week. All right, did we get all picks for that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So now let's go to KSU, Missouri, and have been a few people that have already. Kaufman says KSU. I thought there was another one that said KSU.
I think it might have been a little ways up.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Anyway, let's pick those. So since I'm talking, I will take KSU and give the points.
What do you think, Immaculate?
So you're saying that? Okay, so you're just picking KSU minus the 0.35 there.
Yes.
All right. Me? Oh yeah, I'm definitely going Kansas State. Missouri doesn't have their big 5-star yet.
That's right. That's next year.
I don't see KSU is a far better team than they get credit for. So I don't see 3.5. It's pretty ridiculous. I think if I was an actually betting man, that's probably the game I'd just go throw my entire stack of cash on for KSU.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Kansas State all day. I think they're going to win by 17, 18 points. I don't think it's going to be close at all.
Well, the Wild in Wild Ute is for the KSU Wildcats in here, and I'm going to make sure I take this headset off real quick. But okay, listen up.
KSU Wildcats. KSU Wildcats. KSU Wildcats.
Hopefully that wasn't too loud.
All right. No, that was good.
Yeah, I took the mic around took it off the face here. So
that was really good. Give us some clap. Really good. Appreciate it. Mr. Monkey says KSU 34, Missouri 16. So that's definitely a win.
I would expect to see that slide quite a bit here going into tomorrow. Like if that can move anymore, I don't know if it's locked now, but
right.
I think a lot of people are going to be throwing money on it at the very end.
Mr. Monkey's so shocked that it's 3.5.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy.
Ag says it should be minimum 8 to 10.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. Jared Jones, let's get one more. Yeah, I think KSU destroys MSU. All right. Let's move to the next one. Tennessee at Florida. Florida's getting 5.5.
Tennessee.
I'm not taking.
I'm Tennessean. I'm Tennessean it.
Yeah. Florida is a bad team. They're just bad.
This is where
they're
I
just
get
bad.
to
They're not even like bad for an SEC team this year.
They're just bad.
How did they do last week? Does anyone remember?
Yeah, they just destroyed some.
They beat
team that
some.
no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, nobody, like Sisterhood of the Poor or something like that.
It was
Bishop Sycamore. They beat Bishop Sycamore.
Bishop Sycamore.
McNeese, and they won 49 points. McNeese 7.
Yeah.
Tennessee played Austin P.
Yeah.
30 points. Austin P. 13.
Yeah.
I think this could be our upset look here. I'm taking Florida because of the points.
Florida. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
We're gonna start seeing some separation here.
That's what I'm going for. It's either I'm falling behind or I'm going way ahead. We'll see.
So Cougar Track says Tennessee. Nathan Campbell says Tennessee. Mr. Monkey says Tennessee. Ag Biochemist says Tennessee Malls in the Swamp. And Mike Smith says, how is Florida only getting single-digit points? So everybody's picking Tennessee.
I mean, I watched that Utah game, and all I saw was Florida guys on the sidelines just sucking down those oxygen cans. So
Right.
that they got a strong roster. They just didn't play very well, but they did better last week than Tennessee did. So we'll see.
Mr. Monkey says, I kind of agree with Immaculate, but I can't pull the trigger.
It's a tough
Doesn't
one.
have
to
the
pull,
guts
but
to do it. That's really good. Tony Lawson's in the house. Good to see you, Tony.
Tough Tony.
He says Minnesota easy, so going down to that Minnesota UNC game. And then Jared Jones says, Mike Smith, that's why I don't gamble. My point spreads on most of these games aren't even close to Vegas. Yeah, isn't that the truth? All right. So let's get to our final two. Let's go to Weber at Utah. And we couldn't find a line on that, Ute.
Yeah, so it's just straight up, huh?
Well, no, we
Yeah.
were going to invent one.
we're gonna make our own.
We're going to
Like
invent
35
one.
points. You want to give them
Yeah,
35?
no, what would the line be to this game? I think that's pretty realistic. 35 points seems right on the nose.
Yeah, 34 to 35 is what I was going to say.
Wow, yeah, put it down there. Let's do it.
Okay, so we'll say
34 and a half?
minus 34 and a half.
Wow. That's
Okay.
tough.
All right, so what are we doing?
I'm going Utah with the over because I think they're going to win by 35. Clean.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I'm waiting for
Mo?
everybody
Do
else.
we know
I'm
if
gonna do last.
Is Cam Rising playing this? Is Cam playing this week?
No one's saying still, so Kiki and
doubt it.
Rising probably aren't playing.
No,
So
no,
this is
they're
Nate
not.
Johnson.
I think they're going to sit him for this week, probably. Just
Yeah.
give him another week to get better.
I'm taking Weber in the points.
There you go.
You always take the opposite.
Well, I'm BYU. That's why. It's okay. I'm
I'm
always
taking
wrong,
Utah.
so it doesn't matter.
I'll take Utah, but it's a very soft on that because of the points. Utah, I'm telling you right now, Phil, Utah had better come out there and drop 35 on those guys, or else.
See, this is what we were saying before you got in here. I was saying that I think this is a very important game for Utah because previous to this, your secondary quarterbacks didn't really get a chance to just play all out. I mean, they couldn't make mistakes. And this is a game where they can make some mistakes, and it's okay. So I think in this game, it's either they're going to win by that amount or they're going to win by much less than that amount. And it's going to actually be a much closer game than we think just because of some mistakes made.
I just don't see how Weber scores any points. So it's like, really, how much is the Utah offense going to put up?
Exactly.
So can they score 42?
I'm with you on that. It's just a
Right.
matter of whether
Can
the
they score
backups
42?
can score that many points. And
I think Utah
I like,
rolls.
I like
big.
what I saw out of them against Florida, so I'm going to go Utah's going to get the points with backup quarterbacks looking like stars.
Okay. Let's go through some picks that we've got here from our fans. We got Cougar Track says Utah. Nathan Campbell says Utah big. Ag Biochemist says Utah by 30.
That doesn't beat the spread.
30 doesn't beat the
need-
spread,
It
Biochemist.
doesn't. Nope.
We need people to play the spread here.
Yeah,
The
we're
30
playing the spread. Just so everybody knows, we're giving you points or taking points from the team that you think is going to win,
And to,
and you pick against that.
and to make it clear, that's our spread. There is not.
There is no spread that we can find
There's
on
no
Vegas. We invented it.
publicized spread. No one's taking bets on this game.
Mike Smith says Weber grills the Utes. Bad, bada bing. Try the veal.
Wow.
Yeah, you need to get
Hey,
a rim
Mike,
shot sound effect.
yeah, Mike, DM me if you want to make a bet on that game straight up.
All right. Jared Jones says Utah by 4 touchdowns. That doesn't beat the spread. Jared, you just make sure we're saying 35. You have to beat them by 35. Cougar Track says they're going to win BYU by 28. Wow. Okay. All right. BYU beats Arkansas and a nail biter. Utah and the under. So Kaufman's saying they're going to win, but not by more than 34 and a half.
Mhm.
Nathan Campbell says, I'm not upset, you bomber. Did I say I was upset? What? Did I miss something? I feel like I missed something.
He
You
said
are
before
bothered.
that Utah big, so I guess maybe saying he's not upset.
Not upset mine. Yeah, well, I'm not upset either. Derek says schemes practice. I guess he's talking about Utah.
It's practice
Yeah.
for the for
Right.
their quarterbacks and yeah.
Mr. Monk. Well, go back
Go
to
hard.
that. Whoa, one sec. Mr. Monkey.
This one? No, where's he?
Wait, Mr. Monkey said Weaver State.
Mr. Monkey, please tell you. That's not a straight up
I
prediction.
think
There's no
he's
chance,
meaning by
Mr.
the
Monkey.
points.
Okay. I could
Okay.
accept that. Just making sure there.
Let's see here. Cougar Tracks, his answer was BYU 28, Arkansas 24. So that's what I said, 27, 24, 28, 24. But Mr. Monkey says to Arkansas. So not everybody's picking BYU. So, all right, let's go to BYU, Arkansas. Because that's
Okay.
where we're at.
Who do you want to start off on this one with your?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're talking.
I think that Arkansas at home is going to be just a little bit too much for BYU. But with the spread at -8, I'm taking BYU because of the points. I'm saying that this is going to be a game of 7 points differential.
Okay. Moen?
Give me Arkansas. I think being at Arkansas, I think that's the difference in the game. I think Arkansas wins by 10.
Okay. Ute?
Yeah, we talked about a few days ago. Arkansas has the talent advantage. They have the home field advantage. There's so many advantages and everything. So, I mean, it seems like you could see a 14-point win or more for Arkansas. But I do know Utah-based teams, as we talked about too. And I think that BYU is a severe underdog in this game, right? Over a touchdown and everything. I think they're going to play Arkansas much tighter than anticipated. I think it's going to be about a 3-point win for Arkansas, but I wouldn't be surprised if BYU upset Arkansas. And I'm definitely taking the Cougars the points here.
Okay.
And I'm taking BYU in the points as well. Believe it or not, for the people that are new to this show and new to Utah athletics, and I'm talking BYU and Utah, these schools play extremely well when they're underdogs. Always have traveled well, always do well with the fan support. Both Utah and BYU are exceptional when it comes to playing underdog games. Doesn't mean they win every one of them, but they play a lot better than people might think. So, I'm taking BYU in the points. I think it's probably a 3-point game, 3 points either way, and whoever has the ball last wins. That's what I'm saying. Let's see here. Let's go back and do a few of these. So Cougar Track said BYU, so he's taking BYU in the points. Mr. Monkey's laying the points. He's saying Arkansas. Cougar Tracks comes back and says, I don't know where BYU by 28 came from. It was a mistype up above Cougar. It was a short. It said it was this one that I was reading. So
It was an oracle.
yeah, it wasn't that at all. Let's see here. Let's get through. Coffin says BYU in a close game. I can't and won't pick an SEC team. Tony Lawson says I'll take BYU and the team Wisconsin plays. What does that mean?
He does not like Wisconsin.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
gopher. He's a
Oh,
gopher.
okay.
He's
Oh,
a gopher.
okay.
Wait,
All
ask Tony who's going to win this Minnesota game.
All right,
Do you have a
Tony, who's going to
prediction?
win Minnesota?
Yeah, throw that out there.
I think he already put up there somewhere Minnesota right when he very first came in. I
Okay.
saw him say that.
Derek's
Coffin,
with me.
tell
BYU
us what it
covers.
was. We'll post it. Derek says BYU covers, and he's a Ute. Let's see. I won't pick an SEC game. Let's see. Coffin says rooting for Big 12 schools first. We're going to get into that. And as this season goes, you're going to start seeing a lot more rankings that include the 4 new Pac-12 schools. I've already seen several that they've already started counting records this year, even though they're not in the same conference. So a lot of people looking forward to the new schools being in the Big 12. Let's see here. Moen, that's you.
Could I make a little comment about that? Because
Please,
I
yeah,
saw
go
someone
ahead.
else saying that they think the entire pack lineup is going to win this weekend. And if I am putting one of them on upset alert, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to do this for Arizona State. They got Fresno State coming to town, and I think that's going to be a tough one. I think Fresno State, if anyone's going to lose this week, it will be Arizona State at home to Fresno State. So, and as them being a future Big 12 team, it's, you don't really want to see that happen, but they're having a pretty tough year right now.
Very, very fair. Derek Roche says this is BYU's kind of match. I say the same thing for Utah when they're on the road. I almost always think Utah's going to pull it out. Mr. Monkey says rooting big for BYU. Kaufman says always. Mr. Monkey says UNC for me. So back to the North Carolina game with Minnesota. He thinks North Carolina is going to win. Let's see. Cougar Track says I picked Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
And
They
last
aren't
one we got
they're
here
looking
is
pretty good this year. Fresno is.
Tony Lawson says big over the goats. So,
Squirrels big over the goats.
or
Gophers
is that a mountain
big over the
goat?
goats.
What is that
Gophers
thing?
over
Okay.
Tar Heels.
Okay.
There's
all
code.
right. Guys, this has been fantastic. Did you get all of our wins in there? Immaculate. Did you get everybody's predictions?
Yeah, we're all the way through all 8 of them. Yep.
Okay. We got about 10 minutes. If anybody wants to join the show, I'm going to post the link and use it. Join us for a couple minutes and tell us what you're thinking as we go into this week 3. We're going to start calling this Friday Fearless Pick'em Friday is what we're going to call. And we've already got a logo for it. And yeah, we're looking to go.
And the fearless part is letting people call in afterwards.
Right. Steve High Florida says, I'll say it again, Cincinnati, Miami, Ohio, 127th meeting. And I guess he's picking Cincinnati over Miami of Ohio.
Yeah,
right?
that's
probably a fair guess.
That's probably another one where you're not going to find any action on it at the sports books.
Right. Cougar Track says, will you pick Air Force Utah State game? Sure, we can do that. We're taking suggestions.
Yeah, what's the line? What's the
Is
line?
that next week or is that this
No,
week?
that's going on right now, I think.
That's this
Oh.
week.
Is that right now?
Well,
Yeah.
it's going right now. It's hard to pick a game already going.
Like, what's the score right now?
What's the
before
score?
I pick?
What's the
I bet it's
score?
7-0 Air Force, if I had to guess.
Are they in Colorado Springs? No,
Isn't that-
nobody can tell
You
us.
know,
where
this,
it's
Hold on.
at?
this speaks,
I'm
this
looking.
speaks to how
It's
Utah
it's
State
at
is not
Air
on the same
Force,
level.
It's at Air Force. I take Air
Oh.
Force.
and
Um,
the line is 9. 9
Okay,
Air
Air
Force.
Force.
considering what the score is right now, I'm definitely going Air Force.
What is the score?
Well, Air Force scored 22 points in the first quarter.
Okay, I pick Air Force.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I don't
Kaufman says
know.
I'd love to join, but he has to work tomorrow. Try a different time. That's all right. If you want to join the show, here I'm going to post it one more time. Click on this link in the comment section and join us, and we'll talk
Yeah.
for a couple minutes.
Join us and make your bold predictions.
Cougar Track says they're playing now. Thank you, Cougar Tracks. I appreciate that. Nathan Campbell says, who does Washington State and Oregon State play this week? We could do those really quick while we're waiting to see if anybody
Doesn't
joins
Oregon
us.
State play San Diego State?
Oh, we talked about that
Yeah,
earlier.
Oregon
didn't
State
we?
plays San Diego
did.
State.
You talk about
I
the
can get
biggest
you the lines
loser in
here.
realignment.
Washington State was Northern Colorado.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ute. What'd you say?
That just crossed my mind. I was thinking about the absolute biggest loser in realignment by far is San Diego State. By far.
I'd have to debate you on that one, brother.
I think Washington State, Oregon State are the
It
biggest.
depends upon where Oregon State and Washington State land, because they're what they're used to spending in their athletic departments is going to be so affected by that. Whereas San Diego State's where they've been, so they're, they've lost in terms of gaining, but they're not like in a really bad spot.
The Jayhawk man Kaufman's in the house.
Yeah,
What's up?
Kaufman, we got a couple minutes here. So what's on your mind?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to join in. I've been missing watching you guys live and everything and missing out on the conversations. But, work and farming and all this stuff, it just takes up a lot of time this time of year.
Sure does.
But, no, I think as far as the games go, I think the Arkansas BYU game is going to be really good. To be honest, it's just it's going to be one of those games where I think it's going to be, like you said, Balmer, it's going to be down to whoever has the ball at the end is going to win it.
Right.
So, but no, I'm kind of interested to see what KU does going on the road for the first time, and I'm really interested to watch BYU come into Lawrence. I'm looking forward to the Big 12 play. I really am. It's going to be an interesting year, and I think I think Oklahoma and Texas is going to have a big target on their back from all the Hateful Eight schools.
Sure.
I think they're playing any one of those schools is going to be giving 110, if not 120%, to try and beat those schools.
Absolutely right. Yep, that's true. I think the Kansas BYU game next week is going to be huge.
Oh, I think so too. I think it's going to be massive.
Yeah, it's going to be a really big
So-
one.
Who does KU have this week, Hoffman?
They are playing Nevada.
You'll win that game.
So, and I don't even know what channel it's on. I don't even know when they play. I'm probably going to be at work and probably won't be able to watch it. I might be able to listen to it a little bit, but
Find out for
it's
you.
just one of those things because, the Captain Butter, when he came on doing that deal with the flight deal, it reminded me of when they delivered the last 747. The flight crew for the 747 did something similar with their flight plan, and they did 747 with a crown on the top of it for the Queen of the Sky.
Right,
The
right,
last one.
right.
That one
You can
might
get
be.
on.
Sorry,
Huh?
I was going to say that game might be a little bit tougher than you think. It's 7:30 local time in Nevada, so Kansas is having to go out west and play very late.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to watch it because I got to be up at 3 a.m. the next morning and go to work. So
And it's on CBS Sports Network, so it's not like it's real easy to get to either in order to watch
No.
it.
Hi,
well,
hey,
we got
hey,
This is
Steve, how are you
CBS
doing?
Because that's that wonderful Mountain West deal that they got.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Steve, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Hey,
Good.
Steve.
Do you have something on your mind before we close this out?
Nah, you just said join the show, so I thought I'd get in the fray.
There he is.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get off, guys. I'll let you guys
Okay.
talk, and
We'll see you
we'll
later,
catch you
Kaufman.
later. And
See you,
one of these
Kaufman.
times,
Thanks for
Palmer, once I
stopping
get the
by.
wheat in the ground, get the farming done, I'll hit you up, and I'll start going through and start doing stuff to do a Big 12 basketball preview.
That would be great. I'm
Um,
looking forward to it, Kaufman.
All right, later.
All right. We'll see
How's it
you.
going, Kaufman?
All right,
Steve.
Steve. So what's
I
on your
think,
mind today?
I think BYU wins outright.
How
Yeah.
do they win outright? I'm curious. Like, how does it get done?
Couple turnovers, capitalize on a couple of turnovers, take the crowd out of the game in Arkansas. This was 7 or 8 years ago. I watched Toledo do that to Arkansas at Arkansas. And Arkansas, I'm not sure who they play next week, and I don't think they would look past BYU. But these SEC teams, so far this season, haven't been fantastic out of conference. I give BYU a shot.
I dare say I think the SEC has been picked apart via the transfer portal. Maybe I don't have numbers in front of me, but trying to look at something this wide across the entire conference, that maybe they have felt the transfer portal the worst of all the schools.
Yeah, most, it's funny you bring that up, Immaculate, because two of the best athletes on the Cincinnati team, obviously the team I follow, both are from Florida. I mean, ASU in between for the quarterback, but they both played for the Gators, and I gotta believe you look at you go up and down the list of SEC teams, and yeah, they lost. There's some SEC teams that lost some guys in the transfer portal for sure.
Yep, and when you look at a team like Florida with the numbers that they had in recruiting, it wasn't just quality, but it was also quantity. Kind of makes it look like they had a bunch of spots on the roster that went open that they had to fill up with new recruits.
Yep, and it's again, I hate to revert back to Cincinnati because I know you guys want to hear more than that. But Satterfield had to come in January and basically rebuild the whole team because there's a mass exodus. When Fickle left, there was a mass exodus, guys.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of talent.
Right.
So, I'm not too worried about tomorrow. But by the way, Mo, I did look. It is on the board for betting. It's -14 Cincinnati.
So, Steve, is Cincinnati going to compete for this Big 12 crown? Are they that caliber?
No.
Where are they going to fall at the end of the year?
I think 6-6 is what I've hoped for. It really is.
You're going to be 3-0, right? So you're looking at 3-6 in Big 12 play?
Well, don't say we're going to be 3-0 against Miami of Ohio. They've played 127 times, and there's been some crazy things happen in that game. I know it's in Cincinnati. Cincinnati should win, but I just think once they get into the meat of the Big 12, Satterfield couldn't fill all the depth through the transfer portal. He couldn't, Phil. It was tough. They're really, really shallow in a lot of places. The only places they're not shallow is the defensive line, and they are great. Believe me, guys. They'll hold their own in the Big 12. I just don't know that they can put up enough points as the season progresses and keep enough people healthy. The depth is the problem.
I think they look a lot better than people are anticipating, though, Steve.
Well, I anticipated them 6-6 after everything that happened.
Yeah,
I think that's optimistic from everything I know.
Right, but they've looked good.
I think I'm being
First 2 weeks,
optimistic.
they've looked good.
Well, Eastern Kentucky, with all due respect,
You got it. It's better to start.
Everybody plays one of those. I get it.
Sure.
But as I reiterated to you, Bomber, that Pitt win out there, no matter how good Pitt ends up in the second game of the season,
right?
That team going on the road and beating Pitt is huge for that program right now.
Absolutely.
They needed something like that.
Yeah.
So
Now,
we'll see.
and you need Pitt to beat West Virginia.
Absolutely.
And that'll change the perception of your school.
Well, I'd like West Virginia to beat them just so Pitt goes, like I posted a little while ago, just so Pitt goes 0-2 against the Big 12 in consecutive weeks.
Right.
You watched that game? The Pitt?
I did.
How did Pitt look? I haven't. That was my hard pick.
First half, immaculate. The first half, I mean, Cincinnati just beat them up physically. I was so, and that's not a Narduzzi team. But the second half, Pitt decided we better play or this could end up 40-0. And Pitt did come out and play better the second half. But truthfully, and I'm not being biased here, guys. I've watched so much college football my whole life. Truthfully, Cincinnati was the more physical team, and I think Cincinnati had more team speed. Pitt's quarterback is just – the kid was running for his life because of the defensive line that Cincinnati has. And Pitt started a freshman on the offensive line, and that poor kid, he had a bad night. But that's to be expected. He's a freshman. But, the kid came from Boston College to Pittsburgh, the quarterback, and what's a nice way to put it? He ain't no Kenny Pickett.
So it doesn't look good for West Virginia, huh?
I think West Virginia wins.
Yeah. Okay.
Steve, how's Cincinnati's recruiting class going into next year?
Pretty good, Phil. They're not going to get 4 and 5 stars. We know where they go. They go up to Columbus.
They go to UCF. Have you seen this, guys? Have you seen the Big 12 recruiting? UCF is killing it.
Can I tell you something without sounding arrogant? Hey, we put up a lot of years with UCF and the AAC. Okay, we're just numb to those guys. We don't listen to anything they say. Okay, we don't. We just those guys. UCF is just. I've got something I'm going to post, and I'll post it to you guys on Twitter the week of the Cincinnati UCF game. I am going to catch so much crap for posting this. You guys going to have to defend me because it's not going to be good. UCF fans will just come after me terribly. But anyhow, UCF, truthfully, they're second best team in Florida right now. My opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think Florida State's better. I don't know that Miami's better, and I sure as heck don't think Florida's better. So UCF, I mean, I live 6 months a year, 40 miles south of the UCF campus, and I've been there for a game, and It's a great atmosphere. They got some great players. Malzahn does a good job, but Malzahn through his history, he'll have a game or two where they don't show up. All his teams have done that.
Would you say that Cincy UCF is a low key rivalry that the rest of the
It
Big
is.
12 should be
It
aware
is.
of?
It is
I wasn't
immaculate.
aware of this.
It is, and just because of the success they both had in the AAC,
Okay.
that's why, they more or less. I mean, Memphis had a good year like 3 years ago or whatever, but most of the time, and Tulane, you can't count them out. Though, last year what they've done, but Tulane hasn't been consistently good in the AAC. They're coming on, but
That's
UCF and Cincinnati definitely immaculate. There's no love lost between those two teams.
I mean, they were the powers of the AC that were the ones that could come up and challenge, that were getting rankings and things like that.
Correct. I mean, Cincinnati claims a college playoff game, and UCF claims a national title. Now, everybody in Cincinnati's going, what, okay,
No.
whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, but no, Phil, getting back to it, the recruiting's okay. I'm not as pessimistic about Satterfield as a lot of other people are. He took over a complete dumpster fire at Louisville. I mean, when he came in there, that place, Bobby Petrino couldn't stay off the booze, women, and motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Louisville was dumb enough to hire him back. And by the time he burnt that thing to the ground, Satterfield walked into a complete mess. And I'll tell you guys a little story. I don't have sources. I have a couple connections in Cincinnati. There were some boosters and alumni when they hired Fickle. The second guy on the list was Satterfield. And there were just about as many people who wanted Satterfield to get the job than wanted Fickle to get the job. That's fact. So we'll see what happens.
All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap this up. What a wonderful show. I hope everybody's had fun. Thanks for being here, Steve.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I
You
really
bet.
enjoy it. I really enjoy you guys' show. There's two shows I don't miss. You guys is in Greg's.
Right
Well,
on.
And
sure.
I love to watch Jason too. I was glad he was on. You guys,
Yeah, he's phony
coach
on.
is a prize, man. I love Coach on Jason's show, just coming in there.
Yeah,
telling it
Coach
like it is.
he-
He's a piece of work.
being a
So-
Notre Dame guy, he tends to have opinions that are pretty strong.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thanks.
Take
You
care.
bet. We'll talk to
See
you
you,
later.
Steve.
Take care,
Have a
Steve.
good weekend.
Bye. You too.
So, Nathan Campbell's got this. Do
Yep.
you guys know what he's talking about here?
Yeah, he was asking me, and I was talking to him a little bit in chat. He really wanted to know what everyone's opinion was on the chances for Tulsa to ever get in the Big 12.
Oh, okay.
And he's
Okay.
kind of pointing out at a potential rivalry for Oklahoma State. And
Right.
Yeah, look at
There's
Moan.
chances
That's
right
exactly.
there. Zero.
I wanted to be a little nice, but when you're dealing with a rock star, I'm sorry, Nathan, they tend to come on a little strong. And
Whoa, really? Okay.
Look at Moan is a rock
no,
star.
he's a rock star.
He's
a
for
rock
sure a
star.
rock star.
I mean,
I'm
it is what it
teasing.
is.
It's fun to see his
But,
face. That's all I
Gosh,
care
I
about.
love it, man. I
Yeah.
love this Moan right here.
I didn't
This
want
is-
to
Yeah.
give Nathan too strong on the bad news, but you've got some tough. If they ever do go for another G5, that's tough, man. You got Memphis out there. You got USF.
Sure.
It's a tough race, and
Well,
Tulsa's.
It's a long story, right? What
Yeah.
we're talking about here is going to take decades to sort out if they stay
That's down
together
the
that
road,
long.
for sure. And maybe if
you know-
Tulsa puts together a bunch of great years by the time that actually comes up, maybe.
Yeah, whether it goes A4 or it does go to A3, what happens with the ACC, and we're a long way away from getting instant gratification. We all crossed our fingers and hoped this summer would be it. It would all reorganize and be settled, but we know that's not going to happen.
We just
So,
started.
Yeah, just getting started. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to put a few in here where people are saying, great show. Jared Jones, thank you so much for your donations. I will get those to Johnny. Cougar Track says great show. Tony Lawson says Tony Fickles over his head. Let's see here. Where else we got? Cougar Tracks, another comment says, wouldn't they take OSU and Wazoo before they take another G5? Yes, I think most of us say yes. But we don't know. None of us can tell. So other than that,
Tulsa has, if Tulsa has $200 million laying around, I mean, I think
they can buy their way in.
the Big 12 might be interested.
It's quite possible. Before we sign off, I want to point everybody up to the upper right-hand corner. Take your phone and scan in that QR code. That is for BYU mini football helmets. They're definitely one of the companies that I support. Scan it. If you got a birthday party coming up, buy something for Christmas, just for somebody in their office. They're really cool little helmets. The one that's my favorite right now is this BYU one, which I keep moving around. It's hard to see, but it's an old school one that goes back to the 50s. I'd really like that helmet. Anyway, give him their support. If you're a BYU fan, get one of those helmets and give him some support. He's a local business and needs your help. Other than that, what do you guys want to say? Anything else?
Go Utes, beat Weber by more than 35 to beat our spread.
What do you guys think?
I would just say to folks, I know there's a lot of talk about week 3 being a letdown week and all this because everyone expects all these big games, but allow yourself to have fun with this week and don't be surprised if you get some great games where you didn't expect them to come from.
I love it. That's great. Moen, anything?
Eat shit, Pitt. Go Mountaineers.
There you go.
All right, for everybody else, we're going to sign off before Moen gets me banned on YouTube somehow. We will talk to everybody soon. Everybody have a great night, and look for us tomorrow for Twitter Spaces after the BYU game, and maybe after the Utah game. You and I will have to talk about that. If you want to pop something up, we can certainly do that.
All right.
You have my support if you want to do that after the show or after the game. What time does Utah play?
They're on at noon Mountain Time. So
okay, so your game would actually be before the BYU game. So if you wanted to do that, send me a text and we'll get on Twitter Spaces and we'll get some people ready for that, okay?
Okay.
All right, awesome. Everybody else have a great night. Stay out of trouble and peace.